The Mercedes-Benz GLC and its swoopy roof GLC Coupe sibling are incredibly important cars for the German manufacturer, giving it a rival to the Audi Q5, the BMW X3 and X4, and more recently introduced fares such as the Alfa Romeo Stelvio. Now, 4 years into its life cycle, it's time for its midlife update, introducing a host of changes to the design, under the bonnet and inside the cabin. We're here at the global launch in Germany ahead of the Australian arrival from the third quarter of this year. Let's investigate a little further.
So, what are the changes? The looks have evolved in an evolutionary way, with new bumpers, grilles and LED lights front and rear. The regular GLC keeps the smooth, clean lines, while the GLC Coupe still has its squatter stance and sweeping roofline. It's not fooling anyone into believing it's a conventional sports car though. The interior update is headlined by the addition of Mercedes' hyped new MBUX infotainment system, something the recently updated C-Class range did not get. However, unlike the A-Class's swish one-piece instruments and centre fascia screen, the GLC software is still projected onto a fixed tablet screen 10.25 inches across. This system can be operated as a touchscreen via the flat laptop-style trackpad, the little touch-sensitive pad on the wheel spoke, or by voice commands. You don't need to touch anything for this, just say "Hey Mercedes" into the air, and you can change things like your radio station or streaming song choice, cabin and seat ventilation, navigation and telephony. You also get a new digital instrument cluster controlled by a trackpad on the wheel, with various display settings which can also show navigation, boost and driving modes, and a head-up display is also available. Just don't bank on seeing much if you wear polarised glasses. The AMG versions get a plastic rotary dial on the wheel to change your driving modes between Eco, Comfort, Sport, Sport Plus and Individual. Finally, there's a new augmented reality function built into the nav that overlays blue directional arrows over real-time video of your surroundings. This feature is also used on the EQC electric SUV. There are some new driver aid functions, such as an expanded range of steering assist, trickled down from cars like the S-Class, plus a new software system that helps you back up a trailer. Obviously, features like AEB and blind spot monitoring are standard fare. Suspension choices include passive steel springs with adaptive dampers that change the stiffness depending on driving mode, or cushy adjustable air suspension that can raise the ride height at low speeds. European models even expand on this with dedicated off-road modes that offer stuff such as selective wheel braking, downhill assist and relaxed traction control, but the Australian take-up of this is expected to be almost non-existent. At the other end of the spectrum, the GLC63 AMG S versions get stuff such as fully variable all-wheel drive that shuffles torque along the driveline, a race mode that switches off the ESC, and an electronically controlled locking rear diff. There are a whole new range of engines. We'll get two non-AMG petrol models called GLC 200 and GLC 300. They both use 2-litre twin-scroll turbo petrol engines, with the former making 145 kilowatts and 320 newton meters, which, by the way, is nearly as much as the outgoing GLC 250, and the latter making 190 kilowatts and 370 newton meters. Both are matched to a 9-speed automatic transmission and, as tested, came with 4MATIC on-demand all-wheel drive. To cut fuel and emissions, both get the de rigueur EQ Boost 48V onboard electrical system with a belt-driven starter alternator, giving you a much smoother stop-start system that cuts the engine before you stop completely, an onboard waste energy recuperation mode, and the ability to glide engine-free down hills without losing power for your core vehicle functions. There are also some revised diesels that meet the harsher Euro 6D standards, with either 143 kilowatts of power and 400 newton meters of torque, or 180 kilowatts and 500 newton meters of torque, using as little as 5.2 litres per 100 k's of fuel. However, take-up of diesels in Australia is getting lower and lower, and it's unclear if they'll be offered at all in this market. At the other end of the spectrum, there's the AMG 63S with an unchanged 375 kilowatts and 700 newton meters from a 4-litre bi-turbo V8 on dynamic engine mounts, which will belt you to 100 km/h from standstill in 3.8 seconds in its mission to best the BMW X3M and the Alfa Stelvio Quadrifoglio. It too uses a 9-speed transmission, but this is a multi-wet clutch gearbox with only one input shaft, unlike a conventional DCT, capability, and it also has fully variable all-wheel drive. It sounds like an angry tiger. So there's a quick wrap of the Mercedes-Benz and Mercedes-AMG GLC range ahead of the local launch later in the year. Of course, if you want more information and detail, check out the written parts of this review at caradvice.com and leave your comments below.